Hey guys, glad you could stop by. Check out the add-on progress of the LM Studio. This is version 5, and what I've done is I've just kind of compacted the whole thing into a much smaller, more compact version. I changed some things and removed all the buttons in the middle and turned them into little icons up here that are pretty self-explanatory. I've got a refresh, and the refresh is by design meant to not crash Blender and keep your resources low that you have a demand on, so that way it just loads these different studios when you need them. And the cursor is always a pain getting away from me, so I put a button in here to replace the cursor. Also, if you do have a camera, and I'll go ahead and drop in something like the umbrella scene, get rid of that cube. And if you want, you can drop in a camera with the little plus symbol right here. And if you just hit add camera, it's going to put a camera in front of all of the scenes as I have them coming in. You can move the camera back and forth and do whatever you want. Also, you could shift the camera to the active camera, so you could see this is the active camera. It's not the one I want. And so this is going to be camera, and I could just grab it as the active object. And if I want, I could just delete it. And then I can grab the next one and then make it the active. You have a little active icon up here. It'll just make it the active for you. Then, of course, you can jump directly into cycles, and now you kind of see what you've got. Okay, so two very important things I added, which are going to hopefully enhance the add-on and make it a lot better for you guys. You can hit Alt-C now, and it's a mouse modal, and you can just kind of move the camera focal length wherever you wish. And if you hit Alt-X, you'll now control the light with just the mouse, and you'll see that the cursor turned into a little crosshair. That's a mouse modal, and it's going to change, and you'll see it changing right here in the energy. And then for the selected light over here, it's at 10 watts, so Alt-X will move this, and then left mouse will place it. And if you're moving it back and forth, you can right click to let it go. You can also hit Alt-X. If you don't want to move it too fast, you can hold down Shift. And right mouse will set that, and left mouse will, so it's backwards, but left mouse will do it that way, and then set that property. Otherwise, it's set up as an integer, so it actually goes nice and slow. So Alt-X controls that light setup, which is pretty cool. And you do have to have the light selected, but if you hit Alt-X with like a mesh selected, it's going to try to run the modal, but you won't get error messages, and it won't lock up your screen or do anything crazy. So if I grab the camera, once you've got the camera selected, you can just hit Alt-C, and it's going to zoom in and out, and it's a little sensitive, but once again, you can hold down Shift, and you can set that with right mouse. And if you just hit Alt-C regularly, you can left mouse place it, and then Alt-C, if you right click, you're letting go, and then Alt-C Shift and left click will let that go as well, or right click. It just kind of depends if you let go of Shift, but you'll get it. So Alt-C just moves it in and out. Shift slows it down. Right, if you're holding Shift, just right click to set it. Very easy. Now I have an entire setup here for the camera. You've got the camera listed that you're active on. So if it has a nomenclature past camera, you'll see it. So if I add a secondary camera, you'll see I've got camera 001. Now I can select this guy right here because it's my active camera, and I can make him the focal object. I could turn on depth of field. I could turn on thirds. And then you may need to reset the camera as far as where it's at and the focal length and everything else though, plus the depth of field. So I could turn off depth of field here. It's all going to be set. And just so it's a little less confusing, I'm going to delete this camera so everybody gets used to it. I'll re-grab this one, and what's going to happen is you're going to have a few buttons pop up. One's going to be close range or close up, one is a mid range, and one is a long shot. This would be good for like long looks at scenery and cities in the background. Then I've got a portrait set up, and you can of course just hit G to move it around, and they'll each have an independent depth of field depending on what is the average best setting for that, but you can change it all. And then I can do landscape, which is going to give you a nice wide shot, kind of like an iPhone would do. And you can see that the depth of field is set to 22 here. And then you've got your thirds on. Of course, you kind of move this. And then once again, Alt-C just moves this in. And if you don't like the lighting, you can hit Alt-X. But don't forget, you do have to select your light. And you kind of bring the lighting down. You also have the global exposure, which I think is actually going to end up between these two. Just you can light your scene in a couple of seconds, actually. And if you turn off Scene World and you're going for the HDRI look, you can just drop in whatever HDRI you've got, and you can change the strength of the HDRI here, and you can change the rotation, which, you know, as usual, we always like stuff kind of coming in from the side. And this particular scene is not set up for HDRI, so you would want to probably delete these umbrella lights, but no big deal otherwise. And so I'm going to go back to Scene World and just have scene lights in Scene World. Okay, so camera size, you can shift that around as well. So if you wanted to change the camera size here, and I'm just going to duplicate this, but of course it gets its own name. I could change the camera size here, but it doesn't change it there. This one's independent. So these controls are 100% focused on the actual camera at hand. And the theory behind this is the same thing I did with the lighting setup. So if you come in here and you have a light, you've got all the options for that light. And then Shift A, you know, if you dropped in, say, an area light, then you've got an area light that doesn't have the same settings as the point light. So you've got a spread on this one, and you've got the caustic light and the portal. This one has the cast shadow and the caustic light, just some different things going on. You've got the energy value here and the color, which is the same, but also on top of that, you've actually got the hood size. Okay, whereas up here, you'll actually have the radius, which, you know, are just indicative of what you need. And then if you have a sun light in the scene, it's automatically going to pull that up, and it's going to pull up the angle, so you can change the angle. So if I come back in here and change the angle, you can see that the sun is actually changing the angle, and I have an energy value for that. Plus, there's now going to be a use nodes, caustic, portal, and then the bounces, different things, whatever you might want. Okay, so you've got these extra scenes. So if I just delete all this, the cool thing is, and this happened to me so many times, I'll screw something up, and then I just really need to get back quick. And so I could just drop this back in, add the camera, grab that camera, make it active, jump back in, and start over because I completely butchered the scene, right? So delete everything, and then if you wanted, you could drop in a different scene. This is a pretty fun one right here, and this one comes in, and I've got to do some coding to change something, but it doesn't really matter too much because you could just grab the light that is meant for this, and this is an area light, and you come down here, and it's kind of, you could put in your own file here, whatever you want. So I'm actually just going to go in here and open up a PNG file with something on the background. It's a transparent background, and what it does is it allows you, and that's the only thing you got to change for now, but I will change that at some point so you have an extra button to throw the shader network on there. And so for right now, you could come in here conceptually and change not only the mapping of how this looks, where it is. It is a parametric pointer to a mapping system that grabs a PNG, it inverts it so you pull the alpha channel and pumps it into an emission shader, which is basically going into that point light. And as always, don't change your emission strength, change your exposure. That way you can get some different looks and different things, okay? And then it outputs to the light source, to the light output. And so from here, I'll just go ahead and zap all of that. I actually want to throw my umbrella scene back in. It just works so well. It's my favorite. And I'll turn the exposure back up. So from here, you could change the clip start and the clip end, okay? Which is, I think, going to be important in some instances. So you have that. You do have a passepartout as well. So if this is checked on, it's going to blur out the opacity of the outside of the camera. If you turn it all the way up, it's like turning on Do Not Disturb for Blender's camera, which is pretty cool. And then of course you could switch the portrait, and you see he's out of focus because as soon as I selected this, it turns on depth of field. And then I can focus on just him. And if I was to throw in any other mesh in the background, and then maybe just throw a little color on that so we can see it, it's much more blurry, okay, which is the goal. And so I can actually shift that to the monkey head and blur out homeboy here, which is good. Then I've got presets lights. If you left this already and you didn't finish the tutorial, you're missing out because this is really fun. So the preset lights, you could just refresh. It's just the same setting. That way you don't have a crash. The preset lights now has what I call a shadow light. Okay, and this is something you can do standard in Blender, but I just don't see too many people doing it. And you can add some fake caustics behind the scenes, if you will. So it'll come up shadow light, and then you'll be able to change this, and you can change it to like some kind of caustics in the background setting, and maybe just darken that up a little bit so we can see it more. And I'll turn the passepartout down. That way we can just see what's going on in the background. So it's just going to add some shadow back there and allow you that option. Then of course, for certain things in the scene, every single camera and every single light, you'll be able to grab that light or grab whatever it is. And let's just say I wanted this to be much brighter, but I do like it. And okay, hit Alt-C because that's the way to do it. Hit Alt-C and then place that, and I kind of like this. Well, I could come over here to the Store Object Data Properties, and I could store that light. And so now I can hit Alt-C, kind of bring it up, and I'm going to store it again, and I'll mark this one with like a -2. And so I'll change those names here, but whatever it is, it's going to stay the same over here, because this is the only place you're changing. So you could change between these different lighting setups. So I can come in here, and if I don't like how that necessarily looks, I can grab the shadow light. Then I've got my shader set up here. So I could come in and grab the noise texture and kind of change that however I wish. I do have a Musgrave texture attached to it as well. This could even come off if you just want to accentuate that and make it look like some clouds in the background. And then of course, if you do light linking and shadow linking and stuff like that, it starts getting very complex, but very, very good. And you can reverse this and do a bunch of different things. You can add in more stops and get some different features. You could change the colors of the shadows to whatever you want. It's set to black and white, which is just standard, but you don't have to have that. You can have orange and all these other colors. And then you've got a value here that is going to, obviously it is a math add, so you just gotta be a little careful, but it should be in the negative, like -0.1. So -0.1 will kind of give you what you need, and then you can kind of play around with the details and distortion and things like that and get a bunch of different looks. But that is it for now. Some of my favorite features, be the mouse modals, so you can bring these things up like really, really quickly. And the idea is to model without having to leave this little area, like a 4 or 5 inch area with your mouse and your fingers. And one final thing, don't forget, you do have the Alt-L menu. This is going to throw everything into an 8K setting for the render, if by chance that's something you want. They do have an isolate view, which is just going to isolate any object. It's basically the /. So if you hit /, it's going to pop you right back out. And don't forget, if you were to get like really far away for some reason, like really far away, and you zoom back in, and you see your stuff is down here, but you can't get to it, you could say select the camera and then hit Alt-L. And what you can do is frame on selected, and it's going to throw you right back into the scene. And you can hit the same thing, align camera to view, and you can view active camera, and you can view through object. View through object is a pretty unique one. So you grab it, you would conceptually do this with like a light or an alpha transparent background or something just to see, but generally speaking, just a light. So I would view through this object, and I'm actually looking through the light. And yeah, that's kind of weird, but you're able to do that in Blender. And so if I grab that light and hit G, I can kind of move this around and see maybe where it is, and then I can move it up and down and get a really good look at how much that influence, where the fall off of that light is going to end up being, so I can, you know, kind of better light my scene. Yeah, so that's the idea. So go pick this add-on up, guys. I did offer the free version on my last video, and if you don't want to buy, you will still get the light setup here, a more generic version. So you get like from underneath the store data objects, and you'll get a setup that looks like the bottom portion of the add-on, so that way you can categorize all the lights in your scene. I appreciate everybody stopping by. That's the end of it until I've got some more updates. I do have some big things planned for the add-on, but I think we're getting pretty good and pretty advanced with it at this point, so it should be an asset for everybody who's looking to really step up their game and get their work done quicker. Don't forget to smash that subscribe and smash that like, and let's get started.